hopefully we're good. I hope. You never know. So, let me just make sure that OBS is working, and alright, sounds good. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is April 20th, and this is the April 20th TextWest Devstream. So, today, we're going to be doing stuff, what do I want to call it exactly? I've been trying to think of a good name for it, but I suppose it would be considered output modifiers. So there are a couple of mechanics in the latter parts of the game where your actual input will be affected by something that's happened in the game mechanically. Now they're not going to be permanent changes, but they're going to be things that will alter what is output whenever you interact with something. And today we're going to kind of be experimenting with getting it to look right and feel right, because I'm not sure if I want to force the player to just not actually type specific things or type in a specific way, or if it would just be better to let players type as usual and then just change the output. And I'm kind of leaning towards the latter because I feel like it would be a little too difficult to have to figure out how you're supposed to type. So I think it would be better just to sort of change how the output is actually presented to you. So to get started, just going to sort of run you through a brief process of how all the parsing works. Well, not really how all of it works, just like probably a 10-second thing. So if we interact with something and say examine, obviously this one is not set up for examining, but whatever. It's going to output a line of text that says you can't do that because I haven't set anything up. And basically there's nothing special about this string. It's something that's stored. It's actually part of the output for this object for the verb type examine. There's nothing really special happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically allow modifiers to be applied so that we can do things like Pig Latin, which is the thing we're going to do today, or at the very least the thing we're going to start today. And, you know, Pig Latin is a fairly basic premise where we just move the first constant to the end of a word and add a y. So this would be uye, antk, ude, at day. Yeah, that would be great. At day. Oh crap. Yep, and there we run into our first problem. Of course we do. So there are about 3 rules to how Pig Latin works. It's fairly basic, but we move the first constant. However, if there's more than one constant, you basically move everything to the first vowel. So y would be moved to the end because it's a consonant in the word u. Same with C and can't, D and do. But that has TH, both of which are constants, so that means that TH gets moved to the end, not just T. Because it's not hat day, it's at day. Because of course it is. So we're going to have some fun little checks that we're going to have to do here. And the way I'm thinking of approaching this is basically, we're going to let the parser do all of its things like normal. And instead we're going to have the input menu here adjust the output string. So, for example, when you type examine self, let's say we were doing Pig Latin, what would happen is as soon as you type examine self, that would actually be converted into Pig Latin. So this would become, I guess examine is a weird one. It's going to be examine elf say. So that would actually be converted to that. And then yay, yay. So we're going to sort of be doing live adjustments to strings as they are output to the actual input menu. Now I considered trying to make the parser do all this, but I think it's just way better if we don't do that and we just make it a surface level string adjustment. Because if I try to get it into actual things like the words themselves, it's just going to cause all sorts of problems, and it's not going to change really anything that doing a surface level approach would have done. So let's see here. That means that the main thing is going to be changed in input view. And we're going to have to come up with some interesting ways to do this. So first off, I'm going to say using system.text because we're going to need the string builder stuff. Because there's no reason for us to split a string into like 50 strings, then try to output it. Oh god, books are going to suck. Oh man, this is going to be really tough. Okay, I think I can do this. Okay. Yeah, that's another reason that we really want to do string builders. Okay. Because most of our outputs are like a sentence long. But in cases like books, if we were to apply Pig Latin to that, I would not want to make separate strings for each individual word and then try to concatenate them at the end. So I'm going to have to do a fancy string builder thing. So, all right. And before we actually start changing that, I'm going to add a folder here in the input menu section for, I guess, modifiers is what I'm going to call them. So I'm going to call this output modifier. I don't know what else to call it. That's probably fine. And this is going to be a scriptable object. And each scriptable object, that way I can sort of swap between them on the fly, or set it to be null, in which case it's just going to behave like normal. So let's go ahead and load all. Now I do think that, unfortunately, my output modifier class is going to be pretty complex. I don't really know a good way to sort of simplify it down. So we're going to see what we end up doing here. Scriptable object. All right. And then we'll come down here and say if Unity editor and if, let's see, we're going to have a public static, not string, void, create assets. We're going to say, put this in text quest, and then we're going to need to say using sleepyowl.comment anyway. And then we're going to say if, not if, I will just say scriptable object utility dot create asset output modifier, and we'll give it the name. I guess we'll call it just output modifier because we're bland and boring, and I can't think of anything else. So, and before we finish up there, we're going to have to say. Is it context menu? No, it's menu item, which is not going to work. So we're going to have to say Unity editor dot menu item, then all this fun stuff. So SOS text quest output modifier. We're not done yet, actually, because I need to say assets create. Okay, and all that's going to do is add a path in our assets creation window here. So let that compile, and we'll be able to create the actual scriptable object, which of course is not going to have anything in it right now, but we'll be able to make sure that that works. I'm going to create a folder, call it data. Yeah, data's fine for now, I guess. Might end up renaming that to modifiers, but. So we'll come down to create, then we have SOS, text quest, output modifier. And there we go. There's our scriptable object. All right, so now we're going to have to start adding some complexity here. So we're going to have a string here, well, a function that returns a string. Public string modify output, string output, and then we're going to have, so actually I guess we're going to move system.text into that script. Come up here, and then we're going to say string builder modified output equals new string builder. We will return modified output. Dot toString. Okay. So what we're going to do is we will have a public field here, or I guess maybe we'll make it private. Yeah, we'll make it a private one. I don't see a reason to have this in the inspector. So private output modifier, and then we will also have a public area here. So public output modifier, modifier, get return modifier, and set modifier equals value. All right, this way we can adjust this modifier via script, which makes sense because we're probably not going to have one assigned by default, and instead we will assign it whenever a game loads or a specific event happens in game. And once we have that, we can just assign it via code. So for now, let's see here. We're going to have modified output. So now we got to figure out how we want to actually handle modifying the output. And actually, before we do that, let's just come down here and say add input. I'm going to add text. Text. Go to definition. And okay. Let's see where we parse this text. Strip rich text. And then we're going to say for that if modifier does not equal null, text equals modifier dot modify output text. So it's as simple as that, and we'll just need to make sure that we paste this anywhere that we're actually using stuff, which I think might be just there. Is that right? Nope, it's going to be here too. There we go. And I guess here. Jeez, I have too many add text things. But hopefully that's it. Okay. Anything else, just to be sure? Previous inputs. Nope, that's it. Okay. So now we should be able to modify our text outputs whenever we see them. Let's see. Generate suggestions. Okay, don't have to worry about it there. Okay, I think we're good. So now we need to actually figure out how we want to specify the way the text is going to be modified. So, I guess I could probably have a script here. Compile. There we go. Right click, create, C# script. And I'm going to say output modifier pattern. I guess that's going to be a thing. We'll see what happens here. Because there's really only two use cases that I can think of right now. One is for Pig Latin and one is for removing specific characters. So for example, you can't use the letter P. And that is actually, yeah, that one's going to cause problems. So, crap, maybe I need to have parser modifiers too. So there's a part later on in the game where a master thief will steal your ability to, he'll actually steal the P key. That's basically what it comes down to. So that means that you can't use the P key. So I guess actually instead of an output modifier, I could have an input modifier. Oh, that would work. Okay. I like that. So I'm going to create C# script. This is going to be an input modifier. The main thing is I just really don't want to mess with the parser, like have the parser deal with modifiers, because it doesn't make sense to have the parser try to parse all of your input text and then also try to parse out modifiers for it. I think it would be better to have the input field modify anything that gets sent to the parser or anything that gets sent back, or both, maybe. So we'll treat input modifier similarly to how we treated output modifier. It'll be a scriptable object, and we'll be able to specify how we want it to behave, basically. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up. Reload all. Modifier. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this whole thing because why not? It's going to kind of need that. This is going to be a text quest thing again. Text quest. Input modifier is going to be a scriptable object. All right. Input modifier. that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm also going to dash this output modifier, except of course it's going to compile now, so it's going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to add a little dash after this and say big Latin. Big Latin. Just to give us make sure that we know what it is. And we're going to come up to create, SOS, text quest, and input modifier. Ba-boom! Oh crap, it's still an output modifier? Oh crap. Never mind. False alarm. Well, not a false alarm. That's not going to work. I gotta change this real quick. Input modifier. There we go. That should fix that. Well, while that's compiling, because it's going to take forever. It always does. Let's see here. Let's continue with our output modifier. Or actually, let's go over here to our output modifier type. If it will let me. Okay. Output modifier pattern. And we're going to make this an enum that derives from byte. Enum. Make sure that it's in the text quest namespace. And then we'll let this come down here. And I'm going to try and create this really quickly before it freezes up due to compilation. SOS. No, I'm too late. Aha, got it. And it's an input modifier. Good. And for those of you who are curious why I always derive my enums from bytes, it's because bytes only have 255 bits in them, as opposed to ints, which have a much, much, much larger sort of memory footprint. It doesn't really matter because on modern systems, the amount of memory I'm saving by deriving from bytes is pretty much non-existent. But it never hurts to squeeze every little bit of performance out of what you're doing. And unless you're going to have more than 255 options in an enum, you might as well make it a byte, because that's the smallest that Unity will let you make them. So output modifier pattern, we're going to say none, which will be our default. Pig Latin, which will be our secondary one. And do I want to say like ignore char, I guess? Would probably be what I would call that. And then maybe ignore string. Sort of like they can't hear a specific word or something. You never know. So those will be our three options for now. Pig Latin, ignoring a char, so for example the letter P, or ignoring a string, like for example, I don't know, birds. Maybe when you're typing or talking to a character, they can't understand the word birds. I don't know. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of our names stuff, and good. So, let that compile again real quick. Come back over here to output modifier. Say public output modifier pattern. Pattern, I guess is what I would call it. None. All right, and that will let us decide how our modify output is actually going to work. Okay, so this is where it's going to get fun. So switch modified, not modified output, pattern, case, modified pattern. We'll start small, I think, and work our way up. So ignore char, break, public. Should I have it ignore a list of chars? Probably. Char array, ignored chars equals 0. Public string, again another array, ignored string, nope, can't type strings apparently, equal new string, there we go, array, and that's pretty much it. Okay, let's get the rest of our cases in here at the very least. I don't think this will be an overly complicated problem, so ignore string. I guess I should probably make, whatever. Let's rename this to ignore chars, and then ignore strings. And this is going to be pig Latin. All right. So I suppose my default will just be default modified output equals new string builder, or actually I guess I don't need to do that, I can just say dot append. dot append output. So if for some reason I pass in none as my pattern here, then I'm just going to output the string, no changes to it whatsoever. Let's see here. So for ignore chars, we're going to loop through everything. So we're going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than output dot length I plus plus. This is going to be the easiest one by far to do. Well, actually, no. I guess technically ignore strings would they're going to be about the same, really. So we're just going to loop through our output string char by char and say, is this char ignored? No? Okay. So we're going to say if, I don't know, I should have made it a list, but whatever. For int j equals 0, j is less than ignored chars dot length j plus plus. If output of I equals ignored chars of j. So, yeah, this is where it gets super fun. If it is equal to any of those chars, then I don't want to add it. So I would probably say, I should probably just make that a list of chars, because then it could be super easy for me. I'm going to do that. Because I don't see... I mean, the arrays are a little bit more efficient, but I'm not really looping through them. I just need to know if it contains this stuff. So we're going to say list char, which of course I know is not going to work yet. I got to go up here to using system.collections.generic. Oops. Equals new list char. And a list of strings is equal to new list strings. All right. And now we can simply come down here and say if output of I, or not even that actually, we're just going to say if ignored chars dot contains contains output I, and rather if not ignored chars dot contains it, then we'll say modified output dot append output of I. All right. So that's simple. That's all that's needed for an ignore chars case. For ignore strings, we're pretty much going to have the same thing. We're just going to say I wonder. No. That doesn't make sense. I was just going to use replace, but I feel like that would add a ton of new strings. I wonder if I can reference individual strings based on delimiters inside of a string builder. Well, let me try. Hold on. Let's see here. Modified output dot append zero more format items. Oh, I guess that's just like a bounding, like a string.format thing. Oh, that's interesting. So I'm going to append a raw char value, or let's see what all my options are here. Oh, it's just all of the different types of values. Oh, it's not really that useful now, is it? Okay. I really, well, actually, can I think I can do dot replace, can't I? I can do remove. Well, no, I guess I do replace. Okay, so can replace do strings? Yes, good. Okay, so in that case, I can just say modified output dot append output. Then after that, I can say for int I equals 0, I is less than ignored strings dot count I plus plus, and then we can just say modified output dot replace ignored strings of I with nothing. Although this brings up a potential problem of extra spacing. So I might do this. After all of that, we're going to do modified output dot replace double spaces with single spaces. So not a huge thing there, but that's to avoid cases where I mean, obviously when I replace a whole word with nothing, that's going to give me spaces on the front and back of it. Well, not all the time. I guess technically if you replace the first word, it would only have one on the end. But either way, and crap, that means we're going to need to trim it too. So hooray. That's great. And crap, that also means punctuation is going to be annoying. Ah, jeez, it never ends. So, for example, let's say you removed there from he's over there. Then there would probably have an exclamation point after it, but only there would be removed, and therefore you would get he's over, then space, exclamation point, which means that I need to move that over. Ah! Okay. This is a little bit more complicated than I was hoping for. So once we have that, we're going to say modified output dot can I do trim? I can't do trim. I can't do trim. That sucks. Okay. Do you have anything with white space? No? Okay. We're going to have fun here then. So we're going to say int I is equal to we're going to do 4. Yeah, probably 4. Int I equals 0, I is less than modified output dot, is that length? Yep, dot length, I plus plus. So we're going to loop through, I can't do that because that's hard. It's going to have to be a J. Oh, and also, actually, we're going to move this outside of that loop, actually. Whew, glad we got that there. So we're going to move this down, which means that I can keep the I's, which is fortunate. And then we're going to say, so we replace all instances of double spaces with single spaces. Modified output. So now we got to handle trimming. So if char dot is white space, modified output of I suppose is what I would do there. Yep. Then we're going to do something else. We are going to break. All right. Then we're going to say if it is a white space, we're going to increment our value. We need an int up here. Int trim index is equal to 0. Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. So I'm going to say trim index plus plus. So basically, this is going to be our leading white space that we need to trim off. And then once we're done with this, we're going to have our trailing white space that we will trim off. And then we're going to have to figure out how to do punctuation with white spaces in front of it, which is just great. But let me see here. Okay, so once that's done, then we're going to say if trim index is greater than 0, modified output dot, I think we can do remove 0 trim index. All right, so that should remove all characters from the start to the index that are white space. And once we do that, we're going to basically do the same thing again, except in reverse. So we're going to set trim index is equal to 0, and now I is going to start at modified output.length minus 1, as long as I is greater than or equal to 0, and then I minus minus. Let's see, same thing. Don't need to change anything there. I might shorten this to 2 lines instead of a monster 6 lines. I do like to have these same line if-else statements, if at all possible, for very short things, just because it sort of compresses the code and it's not terrible to read. So, if I got much longer than that, I probably wouldn't have done it. But yeah. So, I'll go ahead and comment this just because it's starting to get nuts, and I know that later on I'm going to want to come back to this probably. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll be able to get a decent amount done today, but if I ever have to come back and look at this. Let's see, so we're going to say replace strings, I guess I ignored string values with nothing. Replace double spaces resulting from removed strings. Let's just come up here. Say trim white space. Same thing down here, except this is where it's going to be fun. Instead of 0, it's going to be modified output dot length minus trim index, because we're going from the rear this time. And okay, capital T, not a savage. Let's see here. So we've trimmed our white space. Last thing we need to take into account is punctuation. Crap. Crap. Okay. Let me think. Maybe I should just do another replace. Because I'm thinking of things like any sort of special characters. Like periods, exclamation points, question marks, commas, apostrophes. It's not that great. That's just great. Okay. Of course, the string one that I thought was going to be the easiest is just going to be nuts. So, I mean, the shortcut would be to just replace all space then punctuation with just the punctuation itself. But I don't know if that would work for everything, would it? Do I need to handle quotation marks or semicolons? So, like, yeah, just trying to think of everything that I would have to do here. Maybe I'll have a to-do here. Handle things like dot space exclamation point. All right. So I guess we can go ahead and try and see that in motion. See what that looks like. And also, just for convenience, I am going to allow. I'm going to make this variable public for now, and then we'll make it private at the end of the day. So I'll have a public modifier that we can just assign. That way we can have some easier things with, or easier testing times. Let's come over here to view input. Once that compiles, we should get a nice little view down here. Come on. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's down here. Let's go ahead and drag in output modifier pig Latin. Oh, and I guess we need to actually assign our data here. So our pattern is going to be ignore chars for now. And let's say ignored chars are the letter E. I guess, actually, I need to come up here. Where was it? Output modifier. Crud. So we don't want it to just be if it contains the output char here. It should also, okay, or, and not ignored chars dot contains output I. Dang it. Does it like the worst way. So I don't want to have to type capital E and E. I would like to just be able to specify E. Um, but I don't know if that's actually going to be convenient. Maybe I won't worry about that for now, which is a little annoying. But for now, I guess that means that I'm just going to have both chars here, both E and E. That way I can more properly handle it. More properly. That's bad grammar. Well, actually, is that bad grammar? More properly. Properly is handle it properly. That would be an adverb, not an adjective. And adjectives can modify an adverb. So, yeah, more properly. I don't think is technically poor grammar, although it doesn't sound right. In any case, let's type examine. Examine. You can't do that. Okay, so we're doing good. Let's try eat. I don't think that book would agree with you. Yep, and at. Okay. So, looking at this, does it make sense to actually have your inputs be adjusted? Because I like the idea, especially once we start doing things like Pig Latin. It would be nice to see your things translated. I guess. Yeah, I think it would be fine. I think it's fine to have it in there because you know what you typed, and even if you don't accurately remember it, you can at least infer it, I think. So, see, I'm mainly wondering if maybe I should, instead of just outright trimming it, have some sort of effect. Like, I don't know, the letter is grayed out or has a line through it. Oh, that would be cool. A line through it. Okay. I'm going to add that as an option to ignore, instead of ignore chars. Well, in addition to ignore chars, we're going to call it strike chars. Really? Why? That's weird. Okay, it's going to be 12, I guess. And strike chars will do thing. We'll just have a strike through on it. Will that compile? And for now, we're not going to worry about it. We're not going to do anything crazy about that. I will, if we have time at the end of the stream today, we'll mess around with it. We'll see what that ends up looking like. For now, we're going to move on to Pig Latin, which is going to be our super fun thing of the day. So, let's see here. How do we want to do this? I think this is actually going to be a fairly straightforward setup. It's going to be a little weird, but can string builders append other string builders? Sorry, wrong thing. Modified output dot append. Or do I have to turn it into a? Well, it can be an object. So yes, maybe. Okay. We'll try it out. So we're going to say ba ba ba. Oh. Oh. Hold on. Trying to think. So there are 3 rules to address when doing Pig Latin. One of them we've already discussed. The basic principle is you move everything leading to the first vowel to the end of the word. So Pig Latin becomes ig, pay, atten, lay. Move the P in pig to the end, add A. move the L in Latin to the end, add A, igpe atomite. Next is we move all constants, not just one, leading up to that E, or up to the first verb. Vowel. My God, why can't I talk tonight? The first vowel. So, for example, they becomes E they, or A they. That just sounds weird. A they. And in the case of a word beginning with a vowel, like egg, you don't move the E. It doesn't become g-a. It becomes eggway or egg-a. And in this case, it's technically optional which way you format that stuff. You can either add way or just a at the end. And I'm going to lean towards just a, so aw or ay. Mostly because that sounds a lot better on most cases. So for example, omelet would become omelette instead of omelet way. Or eat would become eat instead of eat way, or our way, or ra. So kind of just personal choice, not too hard to really adjust. But that does mean that I'm going to have a list up here. So public. I hate that I can't have const arrays. At least I don't think I can. Const char. I'm pretty sure that if I try to make this an array, it won't let me do it. U. And it's going to say it has to be a constant value. Oh, fine. Yeah, make it 5. You're still going to complain, though. Yeah. I can make it static. What the heck? What are you talking about? Array size cannot be specified. I have made static arrays before. Why are you complaining now? Oh, I didn't name it a variable. Duh. Don't I feel stupid? So I'm going to call this vowels. Just make sure. Just really to make sure. Brutal. Anyway, so by storing all this stuff in memory, I'm not constantly creating new char arrays. So it's a little bit better for the memory footprint. All right. So here's where it gets fun. We're going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than output.length, I plus plus. Oops, parabox, that's not right. All right. And actually, we're also going to have a string builder leading chars equals new string builder of nothing. Okay. Oh boy, this is going to be so fun. So these leading chars are going to be the characters that we actually end up moving to the end of a word. And the reason that I need to have a string builder is specifically for those words that don't just have one constant leading them. I need to handle multiple constants if it happens. And in cases where characters don't start with an E, then we'll figure that out. Am I going to need a bool? Maybe. No. Okay. I don't think I need that. I was debating whether or not I needed some sort of bool value to say I just finished a word and there's a space before this one, so start a new sort of word, but I'm not going to worry about that. So we're going to say if I might have a helper function down here. Public bool is vowel char c. Is there a char dot? What are our functions here? High surrogate is letter, lower surrogate number, punctuation, separator, surrogate pair, symbol, upper is white space. Okay, so it doesn't have a vowel. So we'll just say for int I equals 0, I is less than vowels dot length I plus plus. We will return false at the end here. We'll say if vowels of I is equal to C, return true. Crap basket. So I need to be able to handle upper invariance. Shite. I guess I could just come up here and have 10 and then do our capital letters. So let's paste that, and this time it's just going to be capitals. All right. So that's got our lowercase and uppercase letters in a char array. We have a little bool here, and we're going to say if output of I guess we'll have to make it a function, is vowel, then that's where things start to get weird. Crap. So, yeah. So, crap. One of the things I'm thinking about is I might actually double back on my decision to just append AY to words that start with vowels. So egg would become eggway or egg-a, but A, like the letter A, as in there's a tree, would become a, and it might be better to have it be airs they a way e tray. Yeah, that would be what that would be. I think that sounds better than airs way a e tray. That doesn't sound right. So, hooray! Just sucked for things like eat way. Eat would become eat way. Omelet way. Omelette. Broad rules, man. Sometimes we gotta make sacrifices. So, all right. Because of the word a, I suppose we'll have a or WAY appended to everything, which is just great. That I can make a couple of constants. So we're gonna say private const. Constant. Const underscore suffix is equal to just a w. Not a w. Why do I keep saying aw? It's a y. It's a string. Why do I keep messing up my variable declarations today? I don't know what's up with me. It's really weird. Private const string vowel suffix is equal to way. Ah, crap. You know what's even worse is that any letters that are moved over here to the end of a word probably need to be set to lowercase. Yay! Great. Okay. So, we are going to need a bool. Bool. Crap. Yeah, it's going to suck. Okay. I'm thinking. So we need a way to indicate we've gone through our initial constants or consonants, and we no longer need to append any new consonants that came after the first verb. Vowel. Why do I keep saying verb? We don't need to append those to the leading chars string builder. So we need a bool here that's going to say, I guess, has leading chars is equal to false. And we're going to say if not has leading chars, we're going to do something else. We'll just append everything. We don't need to worry about it. And this is where it's going to get super fun. So if it's not got leading chars, then we're going to have to say else if output of I dot is white space. Oh, right, I gotta do the char thing. Char dot is white space. Output of I. That's when we're going to need to append everything at the end. Else, we're just going to append it, I think. So we'll say modified output. Modified output dot append output of I. All right. Let that compile real quick. I don't think we have any errors so far, but it's going to be nice when we have Pig Latin working. I'm just hoping that it doesn't end up like snapping everything in half. It shouldn't. It's a surface level change, but still. All right. So if we don't have our leading chars yet, then we're going to go ahead and say, is this output a vowel? If it is, then has leading chars is equal to true. As well as saying modified output dot append output of I. Also, I feel really bad because this is actually kind of a cool day, but it's probably not the best for people to be tuning in. I've seen a couple of people pop on for like 5 seconds and just like immediately leave because it's going to be a code-heavy day. And I always feel bad about that. Oh well, what are you going to do? So if it doesn't have a vowel, or if it's not a vowel, then we're going to say leading chars dot append output of I dot to crap. Do I not have a lower invariant or something like that? No, I don't. Oh. Okay. We'll deal with it for now. See what ends up happening. Swallowed wrong. All right. So if it is white space, then we're going to do a couple of things. So we have our leading chars situation figured out. The last thing we're going to do in the is white space stuff is we're going to say leading chars dot. Do I have to say clear? I don't have a clear. I don't want to say capacity. Is there really not a way to just clear a string builder? I thought there was. Format, copy to ensure capacity, blah, 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 insert, remove, replace. No, I guess not. Well, I can always set its length to be 0. And that should, I assume, do that. I'm curious to see if that actually does it. The main thing is I just don't want to make a new string builder. It seems like a waste. Let's see here. And after that, we're going to say has leading chars is equal to false. And before we do all of that, we're going to have to say, so this char is a white space. We're not going to append it. Well, we will, but at the end. So I guess we can go ahead and say modified output dot append. Come on. Output of I. All right. Before we do that, this is where we're going to have to append our leading chars and whatnot. So we're going to have to say if leading chars dot length is greater than 0, we will say modified output dot append leading chars and I guess we're going to actually do this on 2 lines. So output dot append, and then we're gonna have const. Oh my god, seriously? Const suffix. Okay, so that should take care of our words that begin with constants. Consonants. Ugh. I always say constants instead of consonants. Else, this is where we know that it begins with a vowel, so we're going to need to just append modified output dot append our vowel suffix. Okay, and that might be it. Actually, that might be all we need to do for Pig Latin. So let's give that a shot, I guess. Alright, so we're going to change this modifier from ignore chars to Pig Latin. Alright. And let's see what happens. Examine self. Shite! It moved the actual caret. Ah, that's not good. Why would it move the... Oh, crap. Right, I know why. That's a simple fix, though. So that should be... examine a elf say, but it didn't do it here. That's weird. I mean, it removed the S, which is interesting. Did I, like, break anything? No, there were no errors. Let's come down here to our input view. And where are... add input. Here we are. Crap. Yeah. Dang it. Of course. Can never be easy. So let's see here. It's going over here, and of course they added the same thing. Wait, is that a scroll delay? Oh, let's space it before. Okay, that's fine. So hold on. Let me run that through again. Not entirely sure why the S in self didn't get picked up. Also, we're going to try this. Away, ukbe, ithwe, ithe, aimne, arkov, me. What are the double quotes for? That's weird. Kind of think that that's just... Oh, right. It's just say with the name Markov, and Markov is in quotes. That's why. So I'm going to read this. And there we go. So it is generating books in Pig Latin. See, this is what's weird. It looks like certain words are just kind of not getting set. That's really weird. Okay. So Pig Latin sort of works, although I was worried about this. This is exactly what I was worried about, where so this word is thus, and it became us they, but because the T in thus was capitalized, we get a weird capital T in the middle of a word, which not the best. Not the best. So we're gonna have to apply some... Good God, this would be annoying. Very, very annoying to read. But again, this is a very temporary thing that you'll run into in the game, so it's okay if it's a little bit annoying. Man, why is this getting screwy? Don't know. Although I will say, let me go to output modifier. Let's see here. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. So okay, hold on. We're gonna say else if uh, char dot is not char is letter, I suppose is what we want. I guess if not char is letter, output of I. Basically, if it's like a quotation mark or something else, we don't actually want that to be appended to our leading string. That doesn't make sense, because that's what was giving us that weird quotation mark thing. But we don't need to do that. So if it's not a letter, then we'll just append it like normal. So we'll say modified output dot append output of I, and then we won't worry about it. Ba, 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 ba. Let's see here. Append. We might be able to say here if char dot is upper output of I else. Let's try leading chars dot append char dot lower. So I can do 2 lower and we'll take a char. Okay, good. Output of I. Alright. So this should take care of our excuse me. This should take care of our uppercase problem in the middle of words. Should fix that. And actually, I'm kind of curious to see if that fixes the Markov stuff too. Oh no. Crap. Hold on. Let me think. Ideally speaking, I would be able to also check for, because I think what's going to happen right now when we examine the book or interact with it, it's going to have Arkhov quote Arkhov quote may. Yep, Arkhov quote may. So I need to detect when a non-letter is used. However, it can't just be whenever a non-letter is used, because you have things like its. Although, how would that be pronounced in Pig Latin? Its would be converted to tisite. No. It starts with an I, so it would just be its way. But what about can't? Can't would be converted to, I guess, just ant way or ant k. That's fine. So, but the problem still stands that I can't just, say whenever you reach a non-letter, treat the word like you've ended it. I need to say when you reach a non-letter and the following char is a space, I guess, or following char is white space. Then append this, then append the actual thing. I guess that's what I would have to do. Okay. So we're close. And if I read, what the heck is happening here? It's just not appending it. Eights may. I guess mates was probably capitalized. Let's try reading again. Getting something different. Yeah, there we go. Eshe, te, artifact. Good God, it would be impossible to read a book in Pig Latin. I feel like you would go nuts. Anyway. Let's see here. So if char is white space. Okay, so once we have our leading stuff, so the leading stuff I think is done now. And instead, next. Oh, jeez. Trying to think if I should try to capitalize. So in cases where the word starts with a capital letter that then gets moved to the end of the word, should I then capitalize the vowel that's pushed to the front? Maybe. No, it's fine. Screw it. They'll all be lowercase. Let's see here. So if char is white space, um, I think we'll also say or um, I is less than output dot length minus 1, and char dot is letter, and rather not char dot is letter. Output of I and char dot is white space output of I plus 1. So if all of that, then we will proceed to append space, I guess. No, yeah, no, that's fine. Yes. 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 Okay, I think that will handle it. So let's try it, see what that looks like. Pretty sure that should be fine. Did it not save? There was like no compilation time. There we go. Yep, it didn't save. Haha. That compiled too fast. I don't believe it. All right. All right. It's good. Let's try it out. Obviously, it's going to be perfect, just like the last couple of times that we've tried it. All right, that looks good. Let's try eat. Oh, that is so not good. Oh no! No! Crap! Rich text is going to get affected by this. Yeah, and what is up with this? It just hold on. Am I just doing something stupid here? Oh, that's why. Wait, no. No, 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 no. If leading charge dot length is greater than 0. My vowel suffix nothing? No, then okay. Why does this append? Why does this append not seem to do anything? Oh, I know why. It's because I'm checking for a white space. Um, that's actually not good enough. So the problem is if I just type the word eat with no space after it. Here, I'll show you actually what I mean. I'm willing to bet. Well, actually, it might actually get trimmed, so it might not make a difference. So if I say eat then space, yeah, okay, so it gets trimmed. So the problem is that it's not formatting it because there's no space after it, which means that it's not saying, oh, there's a white space here. I'm going to format the previous word. So that means I need to actually do this in the case of come on, or I guess it would be I is equal to output dot length minus 1, or, and then I'm going to wrap this stuff in quotes because I always get uncomfortable when things are kind of just left hanging open like that. So if I is equal to output.length minus 1, which means that it's reached the end of the string, then we're also going to do all of this formatting. Is that think we're going to do this. If I is equal to output dot length minus 1. Oh, jeez, this sucks. Hold on. And char dot is letter output of I. Then we're going to append this, and then we'll do our suffix appending. So we'll say modified output dot append output of I. We're going to do something similar down here, where we will say if I is, I guess, less than this, we will just go ahead and append it as expected. I think that's fine. Let's try it. So now we should actually get formatting on our inputs, which was part of the problem. Although we are still going to have to figure out how to deal with the input stuff getting passed in, which sucks so hard. Input view. Jeez. Maybe I should just pass this as an optional parameter. I hate doing that. Really don't want to do that. Gross. Alright, well, we won't worry about it for now. Alright. So eat self. Eat way else say. There we go. So it does work. Auto cannibalism way. Auto cannibalism way isn't way, they answer way. Answer A. So reading this without the W's there would be auto cannibalism A isn't A, they answer A. It's kind of crap either way you do it, isn't it? Auto cannibalism way isn't way, way, or they answer way. Freaking vowels, freaking words that start with vowels, they sound terrible in Pig Latin. But I mean, it is functional. It is not appending that letter, though. That's interesting. So there should be an exclamation point at the end of all of that, but it's not there. Well. Why are you not there? Output modifier. I guess I'll just make this the same. Right? No, hold on. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Or, and we'll do this, and not char is letter. I think that will work. So we'll try that again. And Shazam. Okay. Play. Eat self. Yay! We got it. Eat way else say. Okay, so we have Pig Latin. Now comes the fun part. Read. Eat ray, so good. That got formatted. Away, ukbe, ithwe, ithe, amene, or amene, arkovme, itten ray, on way, it way. Okay, sounds pretty good. A lot of ways, though. I guess that's just how Big Latin works. So, yeah, that worked out a lot better than I was thinking. And I never had to work on it again. If only. Let me think. Is there anything else formatting wise that I need to do for Pig Latin? Not much. I mean, I would need to handle stuff like this where I should probably capitalize that U. But that's really minor. I don't particularly care for it. Oh, shite. Should I handle compound words? So, cruising ground becomes oozing ground cray, but should that be oozing cray own gray? Jeez. Ah! This is a rabbit hole that can never end. Let's see here. Is there anything else that would be... So, Idling, idling, post K. What the freak? So does that mean Kittlane? I've never heard of that term. Kittlane? I don't know what that means. Alright. Kittlane Post. Maybe that's just a name for a place. Yeah. So... Yeah, Pig Latin. Yep, well... Jeez. Yeah, okay. Crap. So yeah, I'm gonna try to handle compound words. Or hyphenated words, I suppose is what you would call them. So hold on. Oh, man, maybe I can get away with just this. Or char dot is... Would that be punctuation? Not specific enough. Excuse me. Okay, so hold on. Let's come up here to hyphen, I guess. Public const char hyphen is equal to, I guess we want to make it a char. I mean, that's really the only situation where the hyphen would be used, right? I don't think there's anything else that can be used to create hyphenated words, hence why they're called hyphenated words, because they use hyphens. Yeah. Trying to think of any other sort of weird formatting that might be used. I can think of like star, but it's such a weird thing. So I think this is fine. And instead, we're going to say down here, or, output I is equal to hyphen. Let's see if that works. This is going to be a crapshoot, by the way, because I don't have a way of guaranteeing that a hyphen will show up. So we're kind of going to have to just roll the dice a couple of times and hope we see it. If we're lucky, it'll show up in a little bit, but I honestly don't know. So let's take a crack at it. Compiled. All right. Over here. Read. I'm just going to kind of speed through this until we get some hyphens. Aha! Here we go. I weigh, away, onunk, all bay. Yep! Hooray! It works! So cannonball became onunk, all bay. Yay for Big Latin. Okay. And just to make sure that everything works fine without it, I am going to take the modifier off of the input field, or input view. So let's just make this none. Okay. And now, when we read anything, it should be fine. It should just be normal. So a book with the name Markov written on it. Read. Looks like everything's working. Oops. Didn't need to do that. Let's do eat self. Make sure that looks right. Auto cannibalism is not the answer. All right. So yeah, that is output functionality, or output modifier functionality essentially done. Oh, this, ooh. I'm legitimately curious to see what this does. Hold on. Let's apply that modifier again. I wonder how it's going to affect maps. It could potentially make the ASCII art really, really crazy. Or actually, maybe the ASCII art won't be affected at all. Now that I think about it, just the note. Uh-oh. What the heck? There are... Is that aren't any verbs? Oh, crap. Aren't became our way instead of aren't aren't way. Ooh. Oh, there were no. Oh, right. Never mind. I said there were no verbs in that sentence. Now there aren't any verbs in that sentence. Really though? Read. Did I spell it wrong? Oh, I must have said read instead of eat, read. Um, okay, so maps can handle Pig Latin fairly well. It looks like the label got a little long, so I'll have to probably shrink the font a little bit, just to make sure that it doesn't clip. But it's good to know that the ASCII art still stays the same, because that would have been terrible if the ASCII art just got completely borked. Although it would have been funny, it would have also been terrible. All right. So let's go ahead and try strike through next for our output modifiers. Mostly for things like when a certain character can't be used, I kind of think it would be better to have the character actually just be like strike through, so you can still see it, but then it's not valid for some reason. Although that would complicate things, I think, because it would essentially mean that I have two separate things that I have to send out, but we'll get to that in a second. All right, so we're going to come up here to our input view, all the way up at the top. And much like the output modifier, which I will rename to be just output modifier instead of modifier. So output modifier. We're going to have another public input modifier. Input modifier. We'll rename this to output modifier. And pretty much the exact same thing. Another public reference for input modifier. Input modifier. Same name. Which is generally bad practice, in my opinion, but I can't really think of a better name than just input modifier. So we will have to live with it. But yeah. So, I guess I didn't test the string thing, did I? I should probably test that real quick. Make sure that it actually works. Make it something weird, like, I don't know, the word the? No. How about the word a? Oh, crap. Hold on. Output modifier. I actually need to change this. So, do I have an option for this? I need to make sure that it is... Oh, no. Yeah, that's not great. So, I can't really do things like A, because that's going to replace the letter A in all cases of the string. So, like the word cat would become kt, which is terrible because you don't actually want to remove the word, or you don't want to remove the A from cat. You probably just want to remove the word A from a cat. So it would just become cat, not a, well, not A, it would just become kt. So, show you what I mean. Oh, right, I haven't assigned it. That's why I was like, it didn't do anything. Was I wrong? No, I was not wrong. I just hadn't assigned it. Alrighty then. So we have. Oh, you know what? Maybe I was wrong then. No, wait, it's a lowercase a. That's why. So I bet if I did this, then it would replace Markov's a, and then it wouldn't replace the a at the very beginning. So that's great. Yep, yep. A book with the Markov written on it. So blarg. I thought that there was an option to only replace it if it was the full word, but I guess not. That is very disappointing. Don't know what to do about that. I guess not use it for now until I can think of a better way to do that. Anyway. Oh, crap. Right. We also need to, so for Pig Latin, we need to handle rich text. So I'm going to go ahead and say to do handle rich text, or I'm supposed to be more specific. Rich text should not be affected. Which probably means that I'm just going to have some sort of loop to say if we have a forward caret, which is just that, it's the like less than sign. If we see that, then we should loop forward until we detect a right caret or a greater than sign. And once we do that, then we'll resume doing Pig Latin stuff, should it be needed. Yeah. Oh, crud. That means that... that means that we are actually going to need another string builder for following rich text, basically. So string builder or trailing rich text equals new string builder. Use this for closing rich text tags. So that's for things like color, because color is going to start at the very beginning. You're going to say, tag color equals green, close tag, and then whatever your content is, and then we'll have the closing color tag. So that's what would go into this trailing rich text string builder. Bah! So that's just great. And that's all to avoid situations like, well, assuming that it compiles. Shazam. Shazam. I'll be able to show you. Come on. Okay, good. What situation did we run into it, actually? We ran into it recently. I don't think it was the map, was it? Examine. Oh, right. That's just going to do that. Can I take? Okay, so right here. You can see that color gets turned into other equals FFFFFF because it's white. Then color K. Crap. Yeah. And that's going to be terrible for things like multi-stacked rich text. So that's, yeah, I'm just going to have to ignore pretty much everything inside of the angle brackets if I want to have rich text support for Pig Latin. Which, of course, I need. So not really an option. Kind of got to just roll with it. Yeah. Hooray. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. We got a little bit of time. Since we already started coding that anyway. Let's see. So trailing rich text. Do I need a bool? I really don't want to. So if that's the case, I don't actually really need this string builder even. I think I can just have a bool that says is parsing rich text. So bool is rich text capital T. Come on. There we go. Equals false. It's just going to suck because we need to do it at the very beginning too. So Let's say if I guess we'll actually come up here. We're gonna have the const char. So public const char. I don't even know what its actual name is. I guess I will call it less for now. That's a terrible name. I will have to rename that later. Oh yeah, it's a char. So single quotes. And then public const char. And again, the reason that I'm declaring these as public constants so I'm not constantly generating new chars to compare against. So greater equal to okay, we're good there. And now we need to come down here to our for loop. And here's where I guess it, you know what, I guess I can just do it outside of this whole if-else statement. I think I can just do it up here. And we're going to say, at least oh no. Crap. I'll show you what I'm kind of complaining about in a second. Let's just go ahead and get this. So we're going to say if output of I is equal to less or actually not. I'm going to say and not is rich text. I guess crap. That would never be the case. Like it's never going to have a less than sign and not be rich. Or no, well, yeah, whatever. Then we're going to say is rich text is equal to true. Output, or actually, then we will also have if output of I is equal to greater and rich text. Do this anyway. Then we're going to say is rich text is equal to false. So flas false. That should basically wrap everything nicely. And I guess right here, we're going to say, in between all that, continue to start up here. And then we will say, what do I want to say here? Modified output dot append output of I. All right. I think that'll do it. At least for the initial pass. It's not going to work perfectly yet. I actually need to change something real quick. So to show you what I mean. Okay. I'm going to take the map again. Come over here. So take. What is this? What the freak? It's double adding. Oh, hold on. Oh, right, because I'm stupid. So I'm going to say if is rich text. Duh. Okay, that should fix that problem. I was like, why is it doubling up on the first couple of letters? Alrighty. Alrighty then. Go ahead and clear that. Hit play. And shazam. Okay, so take Akente or Akente. Now, wow, it is just doubling everything for some reason. Why? I have to ask. I know why. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. So we're gonna move this down here. Move this up. Move this into a whole thing. And do that. So now, don't have to worry about this. It's because I was not actually continuing after I appended it there, so it was just going to double up all of my rich text stuff. So this should hopefully fix that. Um, and then we'll be able to talk about the thing it's not going to fix, or rather, would cause an issue with. There we go. All right. So take boom. I don't know what happened to the M there, admittedly. That's not not what I expected to happen. So yeah, that's weird. Oh wait, no, I know what happened. It's doing the same thing that happened when we were typing eat before. There's no space here, and that is because technically in rich text, the actual rich text is still there as a string, but TextMesh Pro is just not rendering it because it's being used for style data basically. So I need to come down here to our final thing and say uh, hold on, or char hold on, output of I is equal to less. Okay. Now let's try that again, and I think that might fix it. Alrighty then. And Krakow. Shazam. Okay. Take I. Okay. So not quite right. So what am I gonna do about you? Why didn't you work actually? Hold on. So I is going to be less than the output dot length minus one. And oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I did that wrong. Great. Great. Hold on. Maybe I can just convert this statement. So what if I just change this to is letter? So not is letter. See if that works. Because I would assume that a white space character would also register as not a letter. At least I would hope it would. And that means that it should also handle rich text stuff. But just to be sure. Eat self. Eat way. I'll say a cannibalism way isn't way. Eat a answer way. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and come over here and take the map. Take I and still not working. Why aren't you working? We're gonna debug what this should be actually. We're gonna come over here to input view. And where are you? So not add input, add text, which is probably gonna come down here. And wow, really? All the way down here? Hello, Smoderator. Any good with Java? I have a little bit of experience with Java. What are you trying to do? Let's see. Output modifier, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we're going to debug text here. So we're going to say debug.log text, then debug.log text. Okay, apparently I can't type text. Text, blah, blah, blah. we'll see what this looks like. Shazam. Compile. I command you. There we go. All right. So, I'm still kind of not sure why. I feel like maybe it's because there's a space technically before map. Maybe that's throwing something off. So if I say take, okay, that's all correct. If I hit I. All right. So we are getting correct formatting, and actually, let me go ahead and select our object here. So view container, input, root, output, scroll area, text section, label. We're going to take a look at this, see what its rich text is. So the rich text is all correct. It's being properly closed. The problem is that maps M is just not showing up. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm checking to see if it's actually the last thing. Hold on. Let's come down here to output modifier. No, see? So I is going to be less than output.length minus 1. That should be the case. And the following crap. Wait, why did I make it? Why did I make it so that it has to be not a letter? Dang it, I've already forgotten why I did some of this stuff because of all the shifting we've been doing recently. We're working on a text-based adventure game and I'm having trouble with the way the rooms should interact. I have them in a hash map with direction and connecting rooms as the parameters. But how do I basically say if I'm in room 1 and my options are 2, 3, 4, 5, how do I say when I enter 2, I display a description of room 2. I'm really thinking here, I'm complicating it. So, so there are a couple of ways that you can do that, I suppose. If, for example, you say if your options are 2, 3, 4, 5, and those I'm assuming are the directions that you can go to each individual room, you could have potentially an association of those values, so either north, south, east, west, or 2, 3, 4, 5, and a room. And then when that value is input based on the room you're in currently, it will say, okay, I'm going in this direction, so I'm going to shift my position over to this room now, and that room class should have a description of some kind. And you'll just say, when I move into this room, part of that moving function is displaying the description. In a very, very broad pseudocode sense, that's what I would recommend doing. So let's see here. The problem is this. Why did I want this to not BH? Oh, that's why. For things like quotes. Shite. But does that matter, actually, now that I think about it? Ah, jeez. I don't know what I'm coughing for. Do I actually need it to be anything? As long as the following character is not a letter. Let's try it. Ba-ba. So why are you guys making a text-based game? Just for fun? Or school project? Or hobby? Or your own game, I guess. I don't know. So before we go over to the map and read it, I'm going to go over to the book and interact with it to see if Markov is still correct. Okay, so that's still correct. It looks like we got all the spaces right. Okay, let's do eat self. Shite. Yeah. That's problematic. Now, isn't it? So isn't became is waint or is Wayne, and the T just disappeared. Okay. Ah, crud. All right, hold on. So char is white space, which this sucks. So I'm just going to have a, I guess, a custom check that's very similar. Um, so I suppose we could do something like this. Hold on. I like double wrapping just to be sure. Or char dot is letter output of I and not char. No, that won't work. Hold on. And output of I is equal to less. I think we're gonna have to make deal with that, or make do with that. Because I can't just do a generic is it not a letter, because that would false flag things for things like hyphens, for hyphens or apostrophes. Apostrophes would be the ones that would suck the most. Semester-long project. Unfortunately, my other three members decided to wait until the last 3 days to do anything. Yeah, it happens a lot. It happens a lot in school projects. I've had my fair share of game projects where myself and maybe one or two other people did all of the work. I've been creating classes and working on this nonstop, so now I'm cramming to get this done before Monday. Woof! That is a tall order before Monday. But I guess it is almost the end of the semester for you guys. So, all right. So now let's take a look at Markov. Looks right. Eat self. Isn't way. Okay, that's good. And take and I. Ah, dang it! Is it still? It's still not doing it. Why? Why? Why aren't you doing it? Those criteria should be good. Ah, jeez. Maybe I should. Oops. Double wrap this just in case. I seriously doubt that's going to change anything, but you know what? Um, well, thank you. I'm quite proud of it. Oh, right. That's going to cause compilation errors. Yes, I am. I too am making a text-based adventure game, so I know the challenges. Is there a reason that you guys chose Java, or was that just sort of what the class was assigned to use Java to make things? Okay, so let's try take. Still not working. Okay. Yeah, no amount of double wrapping in the world will actually do anything. I just always like to do it to make sure that it compiles correctly. Let's see here. What else? Why wouldn't it do it? Is the question here. Actually, and what's really weird about it is the fact that the the suffix or the prefix is just disappearing into the ether, um, which is very strange. I will put in a debug here. So we're going to say debug.log modified output. No, not that. Leading chars dot toString. Okay. So that should at least let me confirm that there is an M somewhere. It's the language the majority of my college focuses on, so I think it's a good base to learn other languages. That's not entirely wrong, I guess. I always hated my time with Java because Java is kind of, and this is a programmer rant, by the way, so I'm sorry if you've heard this 1,000 times from anyone else, or if you have a completely different opinion. This is the world of programming. I've called Java a dying language in the past, basically. Take I. Okay, so yep, the M is getting stored. So okay, so we're halfway there at least. Mostly because Java is really only good for business. It's great for backend stuff, and even then, great is a very very like lots of quote like giant massive quotes and asterisks next to that. It's only great in the sense that it's been around for so long that it's become the de facto standard, even though it's terrible. And by terrible, I don't mean that the language itself is really awful. It's just that it has a lot of holes in it, and it's not nearly as performant as C Sharp, and let alone something like C++ or the really really low level languages. But of course, it's a lot more high level and much easier to program for. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I really didn't like Java, but that could just be because I enjoy more explicit stuff like C Sharp and C++ is a bit much, but it can be fun to get in there. Anyway, why is this not working? So I think. See what I would expect is that once we reach this point, I equals output.length minus 1, we would force the suffix to be appended, and even if it was appended after the rich text tag, I would still expect it to be there, which is why it's so weird. Um, hmm. Makes me think that I'm doing something. Oh wait, hold on. So leading chars, no, that wouldn't change anything. So that means that we're just not getting into here, um, which is weird. I don't know why we wouldn't be getting into there. Da, 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 da. Is there anything in here that's going wrong? Not really. It's kind of straightforward. And none of this stuff should happen if we're not in rich text mode. So we do at the very least get through here. So we get to the has leading chars, and from there, this is gonna suck, but I guess we'll do it. We're gonna debug .log modified output.toString. This is gonna suck. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a lot of debugs, but I don't know what else to do really at this point. Kind of need to see what it thinks it is. So let's see. Oh yeah. By the way, Nismoner. I'm gonna try to get your name. Is it just Nismoner, and the E is meant to be read like an E, so Nismoneer, or is it meant to be Nismonator? Nismonator. Oh, that kind of makes sense. I guess I don't really know. Is it like Terminator or Ear? Anyway, I always like to ask new people on the stream how they found the stream. I completely forgot to do that because I was focusing on this tiny little niggling thing that's bugging me. Okay, so I and hold on. What? Something's not right then. I think. So the last thing that was done here is you have an A, which is very weird. That that makes me think that it's not. Wait, what? No. That's right. I was stupid. I should have put that after the append. So that A, wrong Unity. Now it's going to try to pull up Unity 2017. So that A comes right before the P in map. And that means that we are getting to a P and it's not detecting this stuff correctly, which is great. So, hold on, let me close Unity 2017. Let's see here. Is there something in here that's preventing me from doing that? So I should be less than output.length minus 1. And So not char is letter. This output, that's going to be moved over to false. However, we're going to go over here and we're going to say the current output char is letter and output of I is equal to less, which should be the case. I'm so dumb. +1. I hate it when I do things like that. Watch it work perfectly. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, of course, because I'm terrible. Hey. Alright. And show you how confident I am, I'm just going to remove that debug. Don't need it. Don't need it. Alright. I'm 110% sure that this will work flawlessly because all of my code always works flawlessly. As we've seen tonight. Alright. So we're going to say take I and yes. No. What the freak happened there? Oh, crap. That's what. I know what happened. This stuff. This stuff. No. So, our problem was, so map should be interpreted as a app may, but it came out as am ape, which that means that something else happened that should not be the case. How wonderful. So if this is a letter and the next one is equal to less, okay, so I have to do an or here, I think. And that or is going to be this, pretty much. Oh, jeez, such nasty contextual checks. Or let's see, chart out his letter and output. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, next we need to say and then we need this and not B and not this. Right? I think that's right. Does not equal less. Okay, I think that will do it. So as long as the output length is less than 1 and the current char is a letter, do we care about that? No. No, we don't care about that. So we don't want that. We just want to say and output I+1 is not equal less. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. I hope that's all I need to do. Let's see. I think we're very close. Very close. Very close. Okay. Let's clear this. I'm hopeful. So we're going to interact with the book. We're going to eat ourselves. I'll try to anyway. And then we will take the map. Make sure that all of that works. Okay, arc on me. Good. Eat self. Okay. And take I. At me. Yes. Okay. Inventory weight untains. Okay. Okay. It's interesting that I didn't get formatted. Huh. I wonder why. Well, anyway. Um, Also, it's no longer affecting our input carrots. That's interesting. Oh, right, no, I programmed that in, didn't I? It's just gonna skip ones at the start. Okay, good, 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 good. Um, okay. Well, I think that's a good place to stop for the night, actually. Oh. Um, so, we have output effects working. We don't have input things working. And we don't have our strike through effect, which is a little sad. But, okay. I mean, it works, which is the thing that I personally enjoy. Oh my god. Let's get some screenshots. So we got that. Oh, and the nice thing about these modifiers is that I can actually modify them on the fly. So let's go to ignore chars. Da, 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 da. Let's see. Eat self. Um, Probably should have some other interactions. Hit self. Uh, Insult self. Apparently, I was going to spell self-selfed. All right. So that is a pretty good spot. Oops, didn't mean to stop playing, but it did. That means it's going to import those things, isn't it? Maybe not. Okay. Read. All right. So I think we made some pretty good progress today, actually. We got output effects working in the sense that we have, or output modifiers working. So we have things like pig Latin and char replacement working. Still have a little bit to go with things like actual, I guess what would I call it? With things like strike through and actual good string replacement. But oh, actually, that's another good thing to do. Put modifier. Oh, here we are. Strike chars, ignore strings, comma replace strings. That could be cool. Really weird. 17. That's probably good. Okay, so things like replace strings could be interesting. For like replacing one word with something else. Like maybe you can't say a character's name, but you need to be able to say his name to defeat him. I don't know. That could be cool. Anyway, so yeah, we made some pretty good progress today. It was actually pretty fun too. Anyway, I think that's a pretty good place to end for the night. So, quick announcement. I'm not going to be doing my dev stream on Saturday. I'm going to be out of town, so can't quite do a dev stream when I'm away from my computer. Wish I was that good, but I'm not. So, yeah. So that means that we will resume our streaming on Tuesday of next week. Should be the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. But we'll probably be back with maybe a little bit of polish on this stuff and one or two other things that I can think of that might be interesting to do. We'll see what we end up deciding on Tuesday. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.